Testing. You hear me now? Hear me at the back of the room? It's right. Good evening. Welcome to Humberside for this Hull City Tigers Golden Black. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, that's the other Sky commentator. Welcome to the MKM Stadium. The chosen ones in Hull have been lucky enough to get the golden ticket, like Willy Wonka, for tonight's Q&A with Acun, and in a minute we'll hear from Nick Barmby. A few of you will know me. My name's Rob Palmer. I am a Hull boy, Wold Road, Neasden, Mallet Lambert. Played a bit of football locally. Wrote to Hull City when I was 13, got a lovely letter back from Ken Houghton. The club thought they'd sign me and actually signed for Derby County as a kid. And you know 9 out of 10 footballers don't make it and one does. I was one of the 9 out of 10 that didn't make it. But did come back and played for Hull City for the reserves and the minors and ended up going over to America. As you probably now know, I work for Sky, or have worked for Sky Sports for the last 25 years after working for BBC Radio Humberside. Burnsy was the station accountant when I was at Radio Humberside. The boy's done well since we persuaded him to do a couple of Grimsby Town games back then. So I'm going to be your host this evening. What we're going to do, we're going to talk to Nick. I'll have a chat with Nick and we'll have a Q&A between us. I'll kind of do what I call the global questions, the general questions with Nick, and then again with Acun, and then maybe some of the specific questions, the bits I haven't asked, the things I haven't thought about, which is going to be an awful lot. We'll open to the floor and we'll have roving microphones as well. In the room we do have the chosen ones. If I could ask you to keep your phone ringers off. I don't mind the phone's been on, because if you've got a mate at home, they're watching on YouTube. But as you're in the room, you have the ability to ask a question. So if your pal at home has got a really kind of searching question that they want to ask, text somebody in the room, and then we'll get the microphones out later on. You can pass it to your pal. But just please no ringing, because it is very, very distracting. Like that. Right on cue. Well, I don't realise actually there are one or two younger City fans in here tonight, so I'll kind of explain Nick's backstory, because it's 10 years since he's really been at Hull City. Nick Barmby, as you know, is, I would actually say, Hull's finest footballing son. I don't think we've had anybody that has achieved in the world of football what Nick achieved. He's another one that got away from Hull City and signed for Tottenham Hotspur as a kid. Played with the likes of Jurgen Klinsmann in that strike force when they had 5 strikers. Headed off Sheringham as well. Darren Anderson was part of that strike force. Headed up to Middlesbrough for a couple of years. I first met him at Everton as part of the Dogs of War team. Nick and I went in the back of a taxi around Liverpool filming for Sky Sports when he admitted that his second favourite team after Hull City was actually Liverpool, which didn't go down well when he just signed for Everton. Nick obviously then went to Liverpool, chose to sign for Liverpool ahead of Manchester United. It was part of the great team that won the FA Cup, the League Cup, the UEFA Cup, and wrote himself into Merseyside folklore. I live over that side now by scoring a goal against Everton, and if I'm right, I think I actually commentated on that one. And then, unfortunately, headed to Leeds United, but we're not going to talk about that very much. In a troubled time at Leeds, and unfortunately Leeds were relegated just after Nick left. And then he came to Hull City, and that was part of this modern-day success story that we've had here. Promoted to League One in 2004, promoted to the Premier League, part of that team as well. One of 5 players to score for 6 different Premier League teams. Somebody at some point this evening is going to give me that kind of pub quiz question and tell me the other 4 were as well. Then, as you know, went on the coaching staff with Nigel Pearson, and then had a spell as manager here. And then we're going to find out what he's been doing for the last 10 years. So let's welcome back to the MKM Stadium, Nick Barmby.
Good evening. Yeah, that works.
Does this one work? Schoolboy error. Do you know this one works? If I swap this with that, you've got 10 minutes to work it out. Hear me now. Welcome back.
Cheers, Rob.
Where have you been?
Been a lot with the family in America for the last 6 years. Our son, eldest son, played for Portland Timbers up in Oregon. Great place. and then Texas, and then Phoenix, Arizona. So we've been travelling all over America for 6 or 7 years.
Tough when you're roughing it, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is.
Actually, we will open the floor to questions. The first question I've got actually is from George in HU10, who says, "Who is your favourite son?"
Well, it depends how good they are and how bad they are, doesn't it, I suppose.
The family's here in the corner of the room, by the way.
So I'd say Jack then.
Well, first things first, you were one that got away from Hull City. You never signed as a kid. But it is and I know this from talking to you whenever we met on Merseyside, when you were at Everton, and then you were again at Liverpool. It's a club that has always been very close to your heart, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was mascot, when Frank Donegue used to take all the mascots, it was against Scunny, so Ian Botham was captain. So yeah, Beaufry Park. But we used to go down to Beaufry Park. We used to train at the old in the gym. Well, you'd have done that, and behind the gym. So I always used to train with the youth team. Big Billy Heath. There was Les Thompson from goal. They used to kick 10 bells out of here. But I always used to go down school holidays and train. But it was just a case of I went to FA trials, Ilıcalı. Then it was sort of like a modern day academy. We had northern trials, got through. Then then went on to Ilıcalı. I think it was like the last 60 players in the country, and I was fortunate enough to be asked to go. And it was too good to turn down, really. But throughout my career, as you know, I've always seen Hull City as my club and supported them. And when I used to be in London, if we had a weekend off, which was very rare, I used to come and watch City at Beaufry Park. Because I used to, for me, I love your Gary Parkers and knew Gareth Roberts. He's a good friend, and bless him, Pete Skip, people like that. And it was always great to me, and I'll never forget that.
Tell us a little bit about your career. You burst on the scene so early, didn't you? You were a kid when you first got into that incredible Tottenham team. Yeah,
well, I think there was a lot of hype then. There was sort of me in an England schoolboys and Ryan Giggs, which people don't. I think they get a little bit mixed up. So England schoolboys was totally different from the FA. So if you went to an English school, you could play for England schoolboys. And I don't know if you all remember, it was always at Wembley, big game, either at Germany or someone, and it was always a full house at Wembley for under 15s, and it was always televised. So we played. Unfortunately, we got beat 2-1, but there was pretty much a big hype around Ryan and myself. So he broke in at 17, and I would have broke in at 17 because my first game was at Beaufry Park, Gareth's testimonial. I scored a couple, yeah. Billy Whitehurst unfortunately broke my mate's nose, centre half. He made his debut. Stewie never caught, so it wasn't a testimonial really. But I would have played a week later because we still had a couple of games left. We had Blackburn, and unfortunately I twisted my knee in the game, so I was set to play and make my debut at 17, but I made it the following season.
It must have been amazing to be part of that Tottenham team back then.
Yeah, I mean, then I think it was a 3 foreign rule, so the rest were British players, but always. If you looked at the teams, that Arsenal had a bare camp, but we got Jurgen Klinsmann, and for professionalism, he totally changed what Tottenham was all about. This guy was a World Cup winner, he won everything in the game, but I think he was 31, 32, but the way he held himself, trained every day, stayed back after every training session, just a great player, great guy, humble guy, and you learn off people like that. And it was just a pleasure to play with him. He was only there a couple of years, which was sad for Tottenham, but then he went on to Bayern, which that was his club. But to play with Jurgen was incredible.
Bit like a kind of a German Billy Whitehurst then, really, wasn't he?
Yeah. If Billy's in the room, yeah, he definitely is. Yeah.
He might be watching on YouTube, you never know. Tell us about going to Everton as well. You went to Everton, and it wasn't the greatest of times at Everton, was it? But they loved you there.
Yeah, with Sand, we'd played him a couple of games before Middlesbrough, and I scored. And after the game, Joe, because I think he knew I was sort of unsettled at Middlesbrough really. And Big Joe Royal, great guy, great manager. Then they came in for me, and I didn't realise how Merseyside was for football. I mean, Rob will tell you, it's just, it's religion. Whether you're Evertonian or a Liverpudlian, it is just every single week in, week out. It's you've got to win, and if you don't win, they'll tell you about it. Trust me, they'll tell you about it. And it's just an incredible place to play, but you've got to be pretty much a strong character to play there, especially with the Evertonians and the history of the club. But I loved my time at Everton. We had 4 years there. It was just a shame that 2 of the years, I mean, we scraped relegation, which hopefully they'll stay up this year. We played Coventry on the last game, and we had to better Bolton's result. Luckily, they were at Chelsea away, and we was winning 1-0. Then I got a penalty, and I'm looking around thinking, well, who's going to take this? And everyone was sort of looking at me, but I changed my mind 10 times, but never change your mind, because you miss a penalty if you change your mind, and I missed it. And they went up the other end and scored, so I'm thinking, how am I going to get out of this ground alive? But luckily Bolton got beat, so we stayed up. But yeah, but you just, you didn't want that burden of the first players and manager of Everton to go down, which they're struggling at the minute, unfortunately. But hopefully they'll have enough to stay up.
You say you've got to have strength of character to move, to play for Everton. To move from Everton to Liverpool is like moving from Hull to Rovers or Rovers to Hull times a million, really, isn't it? In that part of the world, it was a brave decision.
Yeah. Well, at the time, quite a few clubs had come in, and I always had an ambition, because Kenny Dalglish was my hero at the time, and I always had an ambition to play for Liverpool. And it's not the done thing from Everton to Liverpool, and I don't think people would think that I would go through with it. But we knew that they were interested, but it had to be lock, stock and barrel, really, because if they pulled out and people knew that I was trying to go to Liverpool, then you were in big trouble. But luckily, Gerard Houllier, was true to his word, and we went through, and we knew that there was going to be a lot of stick, but we didn't realise. I mean, we had a bullet in the post with my wife's name on and my kids. So luckily it wasn't my name, so I was.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it got a little bit tasty, to the point where the police was involved, and then obviously the first derby game, which there was a lot of police involvement and getting into the ground and family getting into the ground, and went and scored against them, which wasn't great. For the Evertonians, but yeah, we won the derby. But to be fair, I was always pretty fortunate in the derbies. I think I only lost once or twice, even Everton, when I was at Everton. But the atmosphere in the derbies are just, well, it's incredible, unbelievable, on both sides. But yeah, it's a special place to play.
Do you want to skim past Leeds, or should we talk about Leeds?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, my footballing mentor and a second father to me was Terry Venables, and he was just incredible for me on and off the pitch, and for what he brought to football, and I see it today in centre half splitting and passing out the back, and he was doing that in the 70s for QPR and Crystal Palace. But everyone thinks a modern day manager now, they've gone on to another level. Well, your Terry Venables and your Brian Cloughs were doing that years and years ago. But the knowledge he had of football was incredible, and I'll never forget what he did for me. But when he signed for Leeds, he just give us a quick call to see how I was, and to see, would you fancy coming? All he had to do was sell Rio Ferdinand to Man United, but he had Lucas Radebe, Dominic Matteo at the back, and he said, I really fancy that we can do something this year, if you fancy coming. So I wouldn't have left other than, obviously with Terry Venables, and unfortunately it didn't work out for Terry, and obviously no one really knew about the financial implications Leeds was in at the time. And then Jonathan Woodgate was sold, Robbie Keane went, so some really good players went, so we started to struggle.
What did it mean when you left Leeds to come finally to play for Hull City in the autumn years, I guess, of your career?
Yeah, well, like I say, I always had an ambition to come back and play, but I didn't want to come back at, I don't know, 34, 35, and, you know, where I'd gone, which I'm sure there's a few in the room would think that, yeah, you did go when you first signed, so I don't know. But yeah, I always had an ambition, and I got to know Adam at Leeds. And with Adam, you know, he always had an ambition and his eye on Hull City, like a sleeping giant for some. And he just said, I know I can get this off the ground. And obviously it coincided with coming to the KC, which was a big thing. And, you know, to all the historic views on Boothry Park, which was great, but I think the club needed to move and to come into a stadium like this. And so the ball was rolling, and then obviously the lads got promotion from League Two. And he said, do you fancy it? I said, yeah, but I don't think he quite believed that I meant it. And I always wanted to play for Hull City, and I said, look, whatever it takes, I will come. And I remember sitting in this room with Adam, and I said, look, the way it's going, it feels good, as in I can genuinely see the club being in the Premiership. It's easy, obviously, to say it now, but you could see that it might take a bit of time, but it's heading in the right direction. And then, you know, the rest is history.
I guess the feeling then is a little bit like it is now, in that, well, the fact that we got all you people in here in 45 seconds when the tickets became available the other day, there was an incredible feel-good factor around the city at that time, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think it was important as well when, you know, we sat down, that sort of my era as a kid, our era as a kid, you didn't really see a lot of Hull City shirts on the streets, did you? It was Liverpool, Leeds, Man United, whatever. And I think that was a big goal for us all. And I always remember, even before the Premiership, in League One, the crowds, you know, 20,000 full houses. I remember, I might be wrong, there was Torquay League 2, which I came to, which was a full house, which is incredible. So if you're doing that in League 2, you know you can do that in your League 1, your Championship, your Premiership. And I always said to Adam, you know, fans will come, they will get back behind the side. You know, you look at in the Boothry Park days with 50,000 odd. So we are a big city. Yeah, we share it with a rugby, but there's a lot of rugby fans who support Hull City, both east, west. So the potential was always there, and it just needed to get into that. I think it was so important for the back-to-back promotions, because I think the momentum was gaining. But if you didn't get that promotion to League One into the Championship, it would have, I wouldn't have said it had waned a bit, but it had gone off a little bit. But the momentum kept going, and we just needed to consolidate in the Championship the first year, because obviously budget-wise, and then what was in the Championship for 2-3 years, and then there's a chance to get in the Premiership, which we did. But at that time, for me, the proudest moment was to see all the kids in Hull City shirts, not embarrassed to wear Hull City shirts. You know, everyone was like, yeah, this is my club. And you saw the KC full of black and amber.
Because people, I mean, there's some youngsters in here, there's almost like an entitlement these days, isn't there? Well, we're in Hull, we should be in the Premier League, we want to get that there again. But if you're of a generation of probably 85% of the people in here, many of us never thought that this city was ever going to be a top-flight footballing city. So when we eventually got there, it was just incredible.
Well, that was the thing, that I think once you've done it, you can prove that you can do it. So the belief's there. And obviously we went back to Wembley quite a few times. But I always remember I sat with Sean Rush, the strength and conditioning coach, and we've all been to Wembley. That if you're rugby fans, whether it's Hull and Rovers, obviously 1980, and you see Wembley Wave of people from Hull but black and white or red and white, never seen black and amber. And I always remember sitting next to Sean Rush, and that day, the way we came into Wembley, there must have been like a security thing that Bristol City fans was in the other side, and all you saw was a sea of black and amber. And I just said to Rushy, look at that. I tell you what, Rushy, you never thought you'd see that in your lifetime. And it just, you know, the spine-tingling moment. And again, it's easy to say. I just think it was destiny that we, no matter what, would have won that game. I just think when your name's on it, it was on it. And because if you look at the game and you look back at the game, it's not a great game. But
Who scored that day?
he never tells you. He never tells you, to be
I can't
fair.
remember his name.
Adam.
Shy lad.
Yeah, a Burmayo, I think it was. Yeah, yeah,
Miss kick.
yeah. But it was just, I don't know, it was not in an arrogant way. I just knew we was going to win the game, because the things what happened that season, we didn't quite get into the second spot. But I mean, if someone said to you that you definitely can go up through the playoffs, it's got to be the best way to go. Has to be.
What was it like wearing the black and amber in the Premier League and seeing this place on the Premier League map, the world map for football?
Well, that was the thing. I remember any of the pre-season games, you never really wore the sort of first team kit. It was always sort of, it was the kit, but sort of training kit. But the first day against Fulham, where you see the Premier League badge, and then you think, yeah. And I think it was really important to stay in the division as well. But the memories of the first year of winning all the time in London, and going close, Anfield, but obviously for the fans to go to Anfield, to go to Old Trafford, they're not going to go and watch Liverpool or Man United, they're watching the hometown club, which is incredible. You can't buy that.
Is there one playing memory for Hull City that sticks out more than most?
I think it's hard because I think obviously Wembley, and I always remember seeing John Watson, and he said, "This is the best atmosphere I've ever known at a playoff final." I think at the time it was a record crowd. I think QPR Fulham's eclipsed that now. But there's been loads of memories. I think, I always, not because of what I did at Chef Wednesday, but I've played at Hillsborough so many times, and I've never seen that end full. But that night, when we came out and it was delayed, unbelievable. The following, where you think, yeah, this ain't no small club where people think, oh, little old Hull. When you can get a following like that, it's incredible. And you look at the away following's always been tremendous. But I don't think you can pinpoint sort of certain games. I think it was just an unbelievable journey. But it was a journey that we thought we could do, but eventually we did it.
And if we're talking about journeys, I suppose the ultimate journey would be to finish your career and get into coaching, which you did initially with Nigel Pearson as part of his staff.
Yeah, I remember the pre-season. I'd known Nige. Nige was my captain at Middlesbrough, and was in pre-season, and he came in and he said, "You're not getting changed in there, by the way, in the first team dressing room." So I thought I was being demoted. He went, "You're getting changed in the coaching dressing room." So I went, "Well, why?" He went, "'Cause you play a coach, and that's the end of it." And I went, "Oh, right, okay." So yeah, he showed me the other side, but I still. It's funny. I went through when I was 34, 35, niggling injuries, and I was saying to my wife, maybe it might be time to hang up. But then at 36, 37, to be fair, Nigel was taking me off the bench. You're not happy being on the bench, but I was actually happy coming on 20, 30 minutes as an impact player, and I actually felt good, and I could have gone on till I was 40, I think. I felt good at the time. But then obviously Nige left, which was a little bit out of the blue, to be fair. I didn't know. Nige keeps his cards close to his chest. I didn't really know, what he was thinking and where he was going. So Warren Joyce was supposed to come in, and then Joyce, he sort of pulled out at the last minute, and then was left in a little bit of limbo, really. So then Adam said, "Look, would you take it for us, just for the time being?" And I never thought about managing, which I didn't. I love to this day. I still miss playing. Playing just eclipses anything. And the lads said, "Look, you should think about it." So I went home and we had a little bit of a chat. So yeah, I took it on a temporary basis, which, not in hindsight of obviously what went on. I don't think management really was for me. I enjoyed the Monday to Friday with the lads and studying the opposition and everything, but I just dealing agents, and as a player you're sort of not selfish, but you're pretty single-minded because you've got to look after yourself. Obviously in a team environment, but you've got to look after yourself and make sure you're right. But obviously management, you're thinking about players, results, obviously fans, reserves, young kids coming through, and it's it's a big job, and it's 24/7.
Did you enjoy it?
You enjoy when you win, but obviously when you lose, then Mandy will testify to that I didn't speak to anyone for 2-3 days. But it's tough. I don't, even if things would have been different here, I couldn't see myself managing for a long time. I mean, I have so much respect for Roy Hodgson, people like that have managed most of the lives, but I don't think I would have done that.
The elephant in the room, which we're going to ask, and I'm going to put some questions out to you in a moment, but the question I've got to ask is when you left as the manager, what happened? How did it all come about?
Well, it was just a case of that they thought I said something detrimental to the club, which, if you read the press release afterwards, but it was, I don't know, wires crossed or, so yeah, it was a sad time, to be fair, in our lives, but it's gone now, and you get on with your life. The club moves on, which it did. Obviously fans move on, we move on, and that's sport at times. That would have liked a nice ending to say farewell, yeah, but sometimes you don't get that in life, and I don't hold no grudge in the fact that what happened, and like I say, we got on with our lives.
Basically, it was a whinge about transfers, wasn't it, and things like that, which managers do day in, day out in the job that I'm doing, but it just got maybe a little blown out of proportion and then was called a casting of public doubt on integrity.
Oh, was it? I mean, you've got
I wrote it down. Yeah. I wanted to get it legally right. You never know who's watching.
But yeah, look, at the end of the day, like I say, you sometimes things happen in life great, sometimes they don't, and I'm not, like I say, we moved on, and to be fair, Steve Bruce come in and FA Cup final, Europe, so brilliant. But that's the thing with football, you if you don't know as a player, things move on. Fans stay, club stays, obviously chairmans move on, and that's the way it is. And if you're a pretty strong character and you've got strong people around you, then we got on with our lives, and the rest is history.
And the thing about being a footballer is that especially you, going to Lilleshall from probably the age of 15 or 16, it is day and night, every day, and then you become a coach, and then you become a manager, and you got two lovely lads that play football, I know that. And it's a chance then, isn't it, to get that family life back together and have 10 years that you couldn't have when you were a footballer, which you've clearly been doing, globe-trotting around the world.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to do that. Like I say, it's with football, it is full on. It's a great career. However, especially to be fair with the players now with social media and everything, got to be very careful. But yeah, it's if you truly love your sport, no matter what sport, boy or girl, to be professional, work hard, and be the best you can. But yeah, it's a full on industry.
Have we got the roving mic? Anybody like to ask a question of Nick? We've probably got 5, possibly 10 minutes of questions. Gentleman over here was the first with his hand up. I hope your mic's working better than mine, sir. There we go. It's coming behind you.
Hi, Nick.
How you doing?
It's nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Who was the best player you saw play for City?
Good question.
Apart from, can't say yourself.
I'd never say myself. I get a few if I can.
Top 3.
Top 3. Well, I always remember when I first came to watch a game, League 2, a little left back, smaller than me, always caught my eye, and I thought, who's that? Technically, I thought, wow, I've never, really good player. And if you saw him go through the divisions and then in the Premiership, I think he got Player of the Year 3 out of the 4 years. Here, Andy Dawson, definitely. Then, obviously, when we got in the Premiership, technique-wise, technical ability, strong as an ox, again, smaller than me, Gio.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Brazilians know, body-wise, they know how to hold people off, but Gio was a brilliant player, really good. And I would say probably towards the end of my career, technique-wise, again, which the players I love, is Robbie Corran. You know, Robbie was a really good player, really good player. So yeah, them probably top 3. But then I'd have to say Dino as well, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Because you know he watches.
Yeah.
Just
Next
a quick
question.
one. Just a quick. Sorry. Just a quick. I just think we're lucky how many good players we're seeing, and me for one, I'm pleased that we've got a collector's item in seeing you just manage at City and no other club. So thanks for everything you did, mate.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate that.
Not far for you to walk there. I've got you the quick nearest gentleman. Centre circle.
Nick, my 2 favourite games that I saw you playing, the 2 favourite ones, were the Sheffield Wednesday away one, which you've already mentioned, and the England game where I think we beat a team from West Germany. Which was your favourite to play in?
To be fair, I mean, obviously playing for your country is, you know, the ultimate for any sportsman. You know, both are different in different ways. Like the Germany game was a must-win. You know, it was a must-win. They beat us at Wembley, the last game at Wembley before it was revamped, which was so disappointing. Kevin Keegan resigned. Whereas I always remember, because they went 1-0 up, and then they had an unbelievable chance to go 2-0 up, and the kid missed it. And then we just scored again just before half-time, which was really important. You could see the life drained out the Germans. But to win 5-1 in Munich against Germany was special. You know, you'll always remember things like that. But like the Sheffield Wednesday game, I think where people think, you know, it's professional and everything. And I always remember when we got into Hillsborough and I was just sat on the treatment bench, and in walked Brendan Smith, and he plodded a load of shorts down, and everyone's looking, thinking, what are these? So they forgot to pack the right shorts. So Adam had to go to Sports Direct, buy a load of white shorts, the same size I might add, because man, I look like Stanley Matthews. And I'm just thinking, what are these? And then it was obviously delayed because of the crowd getting in, and that night was just incredible. But I think that night was so important for the club's history, because after the game, when we'd won 4-2, I said to the lads, look, if you can handle nights like this in front of 30,000 in League One, then, and I think the momentum came after that, because I think we went on a great run after that. And we beat Colchester on the Saturday away, which was a good result. But I think we won 6 or 7 games on the spin after that. And I think the lads started to believe that, you know, we can get promoted from this division. But so obviously both, but you know, the memory of the country beating Germany was incredible.
I think we have to leave it there because I'm going to allow you to get a drink, and the chairman is waiting upstairs. He's been playing this afternoon, by the way, with the backroom team at the training ground, but he's just arrived. Just one final question, Nick. I know that when you were playing, I think everybody knows, you maintained a presence here. You had a box here, didn't you, at the stadium, when you were playing for other teams around the country?
Yeah, it was, so my wife's family, they had a box. So, yeah, but I got caught in the box once, and it was in the paper that I shouldn't have been there when I should have been elsewhere. So, yeah.
You can wait 10 years before you bring it up in front of a live audience. But obviously, you've still got to connect to the club. And what would it mean to you to come back in? You've done your travels around the globe to get a connect with the club again. Yeah, well, I came back last month against Swansea, and it was brilliant to be back. You know, I enjoyed it, and to actually come here as a fan. You know, I went down Allaby Road, and my friend there, Bry, in a few of the pubs, and seeing all the fans, it was really good. I enjoyed it because I've never obviously been to the club as a fan before. Did you try getting as a junior? Pardon? Tried to get in as a junior? I did, yeah. Got a concession? Yeah, I thought there was, but yeah, no. Yeah, because the chairman, is it £2 or something now? So yeah. So I had to pay full pops, but I don't mind that. Nick, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Isn't it great to have you back, ladies and gentlemen? Let's hear it for Nick Barney. Thank you. We're going to have a 15-minute drinks break, bathroom break, and we'll be back with Acun. good was Nick Bambi, by the way? What a great guy. First watched him playing football down the 10-foots around the back of Hotham Road, and then saw him playing for Hull Schoolboys. It was always going to be special, and it's great to have him back on board. We're delaying a little bit because the chairman loves his football and doesn't waste a single minute that he's in the country, and I don't think he's, well, I'm only doing this once, so it doesn't matter if I let the cat out the bag. He's been playing football this afternoon, and he's up in the chairman's suite having a massage. The management team are here as well. So here for our management team. Good Sam, Jim. A big Hull welcome. I know that the biggest Google hit over the last probably year will have been who is Acun Ilıcalı, but we now know him as Acun Ilıcalı. That'll be my first question. As you know, he's a broadcaster, an entrepreneur, a TV producer. That wasn't big enough, so he bought his own TV station. He's the biggest name in Turkey. They say Simon Cowell. He's Simon Cowell and Rupert Murdoch rolled into one over there. And now he's expanded his business. He's in the United States. He's in Mexico. He's in Romania. He's in Hungary. He's in Brazil. He's very big in Colombia. He's getting massive in Greece and East Yorkshire. He's finally conquered the world. Just doing a little bit of due diligence this afternoon. He's listed as one of the 500 most influential businessmen in the media and entertainment business. My career's not over yet, so I might be trying to have a word with him later on. He started out as a sports reporter on a wage of £12.50 a week, so we've got a lot in common. That I kind of did that, but never got my dream to buy Hull City and be in charge of this place. But we've been waiting a long time to get the right man. I know a few of you follow me on Twitter, and you had to be very careful what you wish for when we got the right man in charge of the club. But I think the wait has been worth it to get Acun Ilıcalı into Hull City. Let's give him a big shout to welcome. I know you're not used to big audiences.
Yeah, but I'm excited, I would say.
First of all, the first question I've got to ask you, because some of these guys might need to start a chant from the terraces next season, and as my job as a commentator, I'm a stickler for this. How, sir, do we pronounce your name?
Acun Ilıcalı.
Go after me. Acun Ilıcalı. Acun Ilıcalı.
My name is written like A-C-U-N, but in Turkey, C is spelled like J. So if you put J instead of C, I think you would say Acun, right?
Yeah.
Acun Ilıcalı.
Right, so whoever's writing the terrace chants out there, wag it on and all that kind of thing, Acun, we want something rhyming with. You haven't got a nickname?
No.
No, Acun.
That's what you think. God's gift to me. There is only one Acun in the world. I mean, if you Google, for example, just write Acun, only you're gonna see me. This is my dad's gift to me.
Strangely enough, I've been doing that all afternoon. Right, I know that you're a massive football fan, and I know that you could have invested in many clubs around the world, but why on earth our beloved Hull City?
First of all, I would say destiny, because in order to be owner of the Hull City, you have to just make a deal with the owner. The owner has to sell it. Otherwise, how can you buy a club? My dream, of course, when I was saying that my dream was to buy a football club, it was not when I was a kid, of course. When I was a kid, I was only trying to go to the games. But after I improved in my profession and the business went better and better, I was always inside of football. My life is full of football memories. If I count how many times I was very happy, most of them depends on football in my life. So when I have the opportunity, the strength to buy a football club, of course, my dream was to buy a football club in England. So this was the main reason. I started to search, and of course we get some knowledge about some clubs. Then I remember Hull City from their Premier League times, and I was I had some good sympathy for the team at that time. Then I learned that I didn't know the full story, by the way. I just learned that there could be a good deal with the club. So I decided to come here, and it was my first choice. I had 6-7 clubs available in championship, but my first choice, maybe God diverted me here. I came here just to see and have a meeting with EHAB. Then I came here, it was June, I think. And when I got here, and again, everything is like destiny. The airport guys, Humberside, was so kind. They were so nice people. So I went to a restaurant, everybody's nice. Everybody was good welcoming. Then I went to the stadium. The atmosphere was fantastic without the of course, supporters. It was the atmosphere means it looks very good, the park and the stadium and everything. Then I felt very good. After that, and of course there was some other options, like options means that the reasons, like for example, the team didn't spend money for some time. That gives you a chance to spend money. Otherwise, if they had spent all their budgets, you cannot spend money. You know the financial situations in all around the world. You can spend only a certain amount of money, and this was very good too. So step by step, I like in my whole life step, but quick steps. So after 6 months, I was owner.
What have you learned about Hull? When people don't write postcards anymore, do they? But if you were writing a postcard to the family back home about the city of Hull and the area, the East Riding around it, apart from having the Humber Bridge, which is a little bit like the Bosphorus Bridge, and we've got some beautiful beaches out there as well. What is it that has captured your eye, that has been different, that you didn't expect when you came here?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I was surprised. I was expecting good things to see. I saw all of them. I mean, if you ask me what do you find as minus here, I would say nothing. I mean, what can you expect more? A beautiful city with beautiful people. For me, I think cities are material things. You know, people make these cities for me. Like the city is with the public as city. So for Hull, for example, as I said, I just told to the press today, in Turkey we are extremely welcoming foreigners. You know, in Turkey every foreigner, we love them. We want to see them. We show hospitality. Our Turkish style is like this all the time. I saw the same style before. Years ago, I was one month in Nottingham with the national team of Turkey because the camp was there. I had so good memories. More than 20 years ago, I'm talking about. So I had so many good memories that time. So I knew that northern England people are warmer and they are more welcoming. So at the end of the day, when you look at the full picture, I see so many warm-blooded, nice people looking you to good. You know, when I look at the people, for example, here, everybody looks good to me. Yeah, so and that makes you feel good. In the stadium, the same. Looking is for me the signal of the heart. The MR of the heart is the looks. For example, if you see a guy and if he doesn't look good, in my old experience, most of them are problematic people, because looks, I think, symbolize the heart, and very nice looking good people. I'm very happy to be here.
You have much better eyesight than me. I gave the build-up to your incredible career as an entrepreneur and a TV producer and everything that you've done now, but now you're an owner of a potentially Premier League football club. We have been there on a couple of occasions, and we all in this city really hope that you take us there again. You've come to Hull with a blank sheet of paper. Many new investors go to football clubs and there's a big debt to get rid of. You've come in here, it has been bottomed out, you're starting from scratch. So what is the plan? Where are we going?
First of all, for this year, only thing we were aiming was to stay in championship. Thank God we are one step, two steps away from this target. And very interesting to say, when I was buying the club, it was 4 points over the bottom line. So there was a big danger of relegation. At that time, Fenerbahçe president Ali Koç is a very well-known personality in Turkey, one of the richest family of Turkey, and he's the president of Fenerbahçe. And he asked me, does the amount of money you're gonna pay will be different if the club is relegated? Will you put something like in that contract? And I said, no, I'm not gonna put it. So, and he asked me, what happens if the team goes to League One again? And I said, I never thought about it. And I said, in my whole life, I always think positive, and my success is coming from positiveness. So for me, I don't think about relegation. I only look to the upper side. And he said to me after 1-2 months, I'm giving your example to people, that one of the elements of your success is always thinking positive. So for this year, we are very lucky, I think, because at the end of the day, this squad is a League One squad, and the boys are fantastic. They just fight it every game, and we are about to stay in, guaranteed to stay. Next year is our year. I mean, I would say that we will make, of course, big changes, but here there's something we cannot promise, because we're gonna make some transfers. Even Paris Saint-Germain, buying all the world, cannot go to the Champions League semi-final. So how can I say that we're gonna go for sure to the Premier League? But the thing I think all of us want is a game fighting for top 6, let's say, and I think we're gonna manage it.
Spoke to many chairmen, investors, presidents over the years. Interviewed Florentino Perez at Real Madrid once, who said he was going to turn Real Madrid into Disneyland, which he did by signing David Beckham. I've been to Leicester City, which I know is a club that we may talk about in a minute with a model. You look at Liverpool that have brought in younger players and they look for potential in the teams. And then there are teams like maybe Wolverhampton Wanderers and Valencia in Spain that particularly go out and sign players from one country, and they have a very good link in that country. So what is the footballing model that you are going to try to work upon? Are you going to bring players from a particular country, or are you going to try to bring players through here, or are we going to try and buy success?
Actually, I mean, buying all the players from a country is a good model, maybe, but it's a model for a Premier League more. You know, when you got 500 million pounds, you can buy one country stars 3, 4, 5 together. But in our case, I think we are not in that level. So we are in a good level as a finance, but of course there's a limit of money we can spend. And this money, I think, can only be spent like finding the correct players. I mean, if you look at our team doesn't have too much goals. As you look, we had in our goal, I think, not more goals than the upper teams. Our problem is scoring side. When you look at the scoring side, we have Potter, which is, I think, one of the best players of championship. So what is missing? Of course, there are some missing parts there, sharp missing parts. And like a Lego, we're gonna just make these parts in a higher level from any part of the world. You know, I have very good connections with Turkish big teams, of course. This is some kind of be opportunity. But if I just divert myself to one direction, I will miss other opportunities. So for me, any player which is good for our team is possible.
the club has good foundations, and the academy has worked brilliantly in the last few years when we haven't been able to go out and spend money to recruit players. Jared Bowen came through, and he did very well and bettered himself, went to the Premier League. KLP, Keane Lewis Potter, now is the player that's probably on the radar. How keen are you to keep Keane at the club?
This is a tough question because first of all, he has to want to stay in the club. I mean, first thing is that. So because of this, our tough situation in the league, I didn't talk to him. I have to just speak to him and listen to him. For me, success can only come with the players who play with their hearts. So now Potter is playing with full of his heart and giving all of his energy to the team, and he's very successful. For the next year, I mean, first I will talk to him. We had a crazy offer in the midterm, and I didn't sell because for me, he was one of the guarantee for us to stay in the championship, and I think he did many good jobs. So now for the next year, my aim is to keep him again. Why not to watch him again? But of course I have to listen to him because in my whole career, I have never made anybody do something what he doesn't want. And football is not like, you have to stay, you have a contract, you have to play. This is not for me the correct way. The correct way is giving him the good opportunity to stay, and of course we will talk to him and give him a offer. It's up to him then.
What will the team look like in a year's time? Obviously now there's a lot of younger players. Last year Lee had to go out and he had to recruit free transfers, free agents, players that maybe didn't have clubs. He had to take wages into account because what the club was going through, because it was for sale, and the likes of yourself were looking at the investment in the club. If we're speaking in a year's time and we're here, what will the shape and the build-up of the team look like?
Actually, I love young players. Young players, I think, is the fire of any team. Young players, their energy, their innocency is fantastic. About Potter, something apparent as I have to put, I forgot to say. We have to thank Allen family again because of not selling him before me, because they have the right to do it, but we just asked them not to do it, and they said, okay, we do it. And you know, he have. The his father's name was Assam.
Doctor.
Assam. I have to just pronounce it. Assam said to me, "Do you know why I didn't sell Potter in the last day we were together?" And I said, "And you didn't sell?" And we asked, and thank you very much. And he said, "I'm from this city, and I want to." Support my city, so I didn't sell him because he had the opportunity to sell, and we kept him, and I didn't sell again in the midterm because there was a danger. It was 2 days left for the transfer, and it was a danger for us not to replace a good player for him, and thank God that we didn't sell him. So about next year, for me, a team, I like, for example, attacking football style. Because of that, I just brought Arveladze here, because his mentality is also attacking mentality. And from his mind and mentality, by, of course, making cooperation with him, we're going to make an attacking team, more offensive team. And this team will include some experienced players and young players together. Also, we have to keep some of our players because they're improving, and they will be in a challenge. Maybe they will again get their shirt. Maybe we will think for them like a substitute, but maybe they will be very good and they're gonna just wear this shirt again. Who knows? You know, everybody can improve so much. Another, of course, good thing about Hull City is because the team didn't make transfers. It just made too many young players from the academy. And for example, next year, if you ask me, can you play academy players in Hull City? It is not very easy for us because we want to go to Premier League and we have to just get some experienced player, well-known good player as a career. So this absence of transfers in the last 2-3 years let this academy guy improve themselves, and we have now very good talents.
I do believe that, I mean, when you come to a football club, I think managers and chairmen have a plan A and a plan B. The plan A is if they stay in the championship. There's always that plan B, just in case you go down. And as you say, we're very close to the trapdoor when you took over Hull City a couple of months ago. So I guess now it's plan A, that it's a championship season next season, and you're starting to negotiate and you're starting to execute those plans. So what kind of player, I know you like strikers, we'll be playing with 5 strikers next year, like Nick Barmby's Tottenham team back in the day. But what kind of players are we expecting to see? What kind of investment are you looking at bringing?
First of all, a forward player. But this forward player, for me in football, a football player, if it's 1 year up, 1 year down, 1 year up, 1 year down, I wouldn't risk on that. A constantly career owner, a forward player I'm talking about. So I don't want him to be young. My first choice will not be 20, 23, 24 because I cannot trust in 3-4 years career. So my aim about forward player is 28, 30 years old, full of goal scoring ability in his past. I think goal scoring is like everybody shots the ball, and like Stephen Curry in NBA, everybody has different percentages to hit this goal area. So some players have this talent to when they kick the ball, you see the ball the ball has a more chance than the other players to go in. So these talented players with their good career, one of them will be our forward player, number 1 forward player for sure. And let's see Potter, if we can keep him, play with a good striker. Let's see him with some additional midfielders. So maybe he's going to improve more. He's already going up.
How many players are we short at the moment? I read something like 8 players that are maybe out of contract in the summer, so I guess it's at least 8 players that you need to build up your squad for next season.
No, but it doesn't mean that we're going to just say bye to these 8 players. Some of them, of course, we will keep them. But at the end of the day, I think we need 8-10 new players for this summer. And we are very hungry to have them. They can be, some of them can be younger, some of them more experienced, but I think this team needs 8-10. I don't know what our, of course, supporters, fans think, but I think 8-10 is needed.
I think you're going to get a chance to hear the supporters in a second. It's almost a new team. We'll be putting the microphone out to you and the guys as well. If you got a question when we bring it to you, make sure you got your hand up and we'll bring the microphone to you as well. I'll do the kind of what I call the global stuff, the general stuff. I know there are going to be people probably asking about the women's team, about their view, maybe the shade of amber or orange as some people call it, the match day experience, the deal with the local media as well. I saw Phil Buckingham here, and I do feel for Phil. He's now working for the Athletics, who's got a brilliant job, but poor old Phil was covering Hull City in the very difficult years, and he's here tonight and he spent the day with you. How important is it, after the impasse with the local media, to get that media on board, to get your message out to these people that you're desperate to get out there, to get back in touch with? We're a one radio station city when it comes to radio, to broadcasting. We've got a very big local newspaper as well, and I know you've engaged those. How important is that to get these people back on your side?
The media guys, you mean?
Yeah, the media guys, because they're your mouthpiece, really, aren't they?
I mean, they were not far away from me, so it was not hard thing to make this connection. When of course the relation starts from zero, you have the biggest advantage. And for me, the media people is extremely important. If we want to make this club in the higher levels, our dream. So I think we need the media in an extreme level. So my roots are coming from media too. So with the media people, I can say that we are from the same blood type. So I understand what they need, and they know what I need. So we support each other. I think media is one part of our family. When I was saying one family, I mean supporters, team, us, media, all of us. We are the same family. I never asked media to write something or not write something until now, and I will not do it because we will just make them feel like they are one part of our family, and sometimes if they want to criticize, we are very open to it. Maybe we can make mistakes. How can you be successful if everybody is saying, oh, you are good, you are good, you are good? Of course, we're going to make mistakes, and somebody has to warn us. Only thing is, of course, the relation should be a pure and innocent relation, which we have it here at the moment. So, you know why I was successful? I'm from the media business, and I started like a reporter, and I started making connection with popular people. I was always trustable. When I was trustable, they were giving their secrets to me. I was more trustable, and they were giving more secrets. Then I became like the Bank of Turkey, secret bank. Yeah. I cannot explain you my report. If I tell two stories, you will say that is that man coming from a different planet. For example, I was very close with one of the players in Beşiktaş. I was Fenerbahçe fan and reporter of Beşiktaş. So it was funny because Fenerbahçe Beşiktaş not very good relation all the time. But the funny thing is, by the way, the player is Daniel Amokachi. He played in Everton. Everton.
In the cup final.
Yeah, he was only just talking to me, okay? Nobody else. So we had a very strong relation with him. Then one day, it started like the coach is asking me, where is Amokachi? And it's a funny story, He only talks to me, only I know where he is. He went to Nigeria for the football national team, and he didn't come back. The coach called me, where is Amokachi? I said, he's going to be here, don't worry. He only has a different telephone line in Nigeria because it was not GSM that times, an MT system. So I know his number. So he just, I asked him, the coach is asking, where are you, my brother? And he said, I'm going to come on Thursday. On Sunday, there is the football match. Fenerbahçe, Beşiktaş. So it's a derby game. All Turkey is waiting. So Friday, coach asked, where is he? And I called him, my friend, where are you? I'm coming Saturday, he said. I said, coach, he's going to come Saturday. And very funny thing, it came the match day. And because of, at that time, there was not good connections. He had to come to Gatwick. From Gatwick, he has to come to Turkey. But his plane landed to Gatwick late. And because of that, he missed the Heathrow flight. And he was stuck in England. And it was the match day. The coach was about to cry, he said, where is Amokachi? And I said, I don't know, because I didn't know about the situation. Then, 1 hour later, it was 12 o'clock, noon time. Amokachi called me. I'm in England, he said. I said, my friend, derby today. Today there's derby. And he said, I missed the flight. And I said, okay. Then I started to think. I'm a Fenerbahçe fan. He is in England. If I say to Beşiktaş, he is in England and his number is this, they're going to bring him with private jet. But if I don't tell them, Amokachi will not be in the game. And so Fenerbahçe's opponent is Beşiktaş. I support Fenerbahçe. It's a very strange situation. I thought about half an hour. Acun, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? And I said to myself, Acun, you are earning your money from the Beşiktaş line. So it is not good for you to give damage to the team that you are the reporter. So you have to warn them. And I just called vice president and said, Amokachi is, his name was Aydın. I said, Aydın abi, Amokachi is in London, and this is his English telephone. If you arrange a private jet, you can bring him. They brought him 2 hours before the game. 2 hours. It was incredible. He landed. I'm going to put this video somewhere so that you can watch his coming. 20 years ago, he lands Then with the police car, he goes to the stadium. 1 hour before he comes to stadium, and the game starts. Minute number 20. Beşiktaş 1, Fenerbahçe 0. Goal Daniel Amakac. And I was in the tribune, just looking at him and saying that nobody will understand that I'm the one who just was the main reason of this game. And I kept the secret now because he's retired. I can't tell it.
You know, you said you're very good at keeping secrets.
Yes, I am.
You know what I'm going to ask next. A few weeks ago when you were speaking to the local media, when you spoke to Radio Humberside and the whole Daily Mail, you suggested that there's going to be something rather groundbreaking happening at Hull City.
Yeah.
Are we ready to spill the beans?
I remember it.
Yeah, you remember it?
Actually, I wouldn't say it today, but our fans are here and we are like in a family atmosphere. So I decided to say about it. But where I'm gonna come is from is everybody is member of Hull City, right? Yeah. I mean, you are going to the games.
Yeah. Oh yes.
So my idea is like this. This year, is a saving year, and I hope we're gonna save the team. But for the next year, we're gonna spend money, yes. But whatever we spend, how big supporter base we have, it's gonna be over it, and we're gonna be stronger and stronger. So what we have to do all together is for the next year. For us, this year, as I said, training, but next year is the challenge year. So we need big support from you. So we're gonna make our duties and expecting you to, of course, I'm not talking about you. You are already here. In the bottom line, you are here, so nothing to talk about it. But for the next year, we have to push everybody together, including our media, more fans coming to the stadium, so that first, financially, more power. A team can be big only with the fans. So financially, big power, strong power, and on the other hand, for the other teams, more headache. When this atmosphere becomes like we call it in Turkey, hell, for the other teams. So if we can make it with more chants and more sound, I think the success will come from this way. So first of all, I'm expecting our fans to be bigger. But to do that, I will start doing some things that any club in the world hasn't done for motivation, also for thanking to our fans, as a reward to our fans, and mostly, of course, for the next year, more concentration to the fans. So I thought about what I can do to make our fans feel different. I mean, I want to be a Hull City fan, to be a privilege. I want everybody to be proud of the team on the field and off the field to support this team. So we made a decision, and I'm here to announce it. We're gonna take 250 fans of Hull City with their loved ones, altogether 500 fans, to a 5-star trip to Turkey.
He did say loved ones and not loud ones, but the loud ones are probably the same as the loved ones. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And
So the idea is we're gonna have a private jet directly from here. I mean private charter from here, Hammerside, to Antalya. So 5 days in a 5-star hotel. We're gonna enjoy together. Everybody will have good memories. I'm gonna think me like the host, of course. I'm gonna do whatever I can to make our fans happy. So 250 plus 2, we're gonna bring 500 fans to Turkey in this June. Yes.
Have we worked out the plans yet? Is it a lottery, or is it just like the friends that have turned up tonight and those
I mean,
guys that tuned in on YouTube?
I cannot tell you about the numbers specifically, but first of all, some rewards to the most attendance. So I asked them, I think we have the numbers of who most attended to the games. These guys should be rewarded, I think. So some of the most attendance ones, and the rest will be lottery. Some maybe we have to make some charity, some to the charity, so that we feel, all of us feel good. So think like a fantastic 5 days and enjoying together and refreshing after COVID. I'm talking about the all-inclusive hotel. I mean, it's like you're gonna just come and be our guest. So we will just take care of you as much as we can.
Four of the marketing team have just fainted, by the way.
Pardon?
4 of your marketing team have just fainted.
No, I just approved them. So I don't have the, also another thing, I'm thinking of making some big organizations in the city. So we are thinking of bringing some maybe pop stars to the city. I already have 3-4 sponsor offers from Turkey. So we're gonna make organizations with the sponsors. From our side, everything is shining so much. So from our fan side, we will give as much as we can to make our fans happier and happier, so that they bring more fans, more motivation, and more success. And we are here to do some more organizations. Also, for example, I want to take the opinion of our fans about the team and everything. And we're gonna make an application style of something, so that I can understand what everybody thinks. Because I'm here to make our fans happy. First aim, to make the fans happy. Why I'm successful in Turkey? I make people happy. They watch our television. Our television is #1 in Turkey, #1 in Greece. So I can say that the reason is what? My first aim. I come from the vice versa. First, make people happy. When they're happy, they watch you. When they watch you, you get more money. When you get more money, you make better production. Then they will watch you more. Then when they watch you more, you make more money. So this is a chain reaction. So from our side, we have to make everybody as happy as we can, so that they enjoy and they support us. For example, why did I make £2 operation? Because I want the kids to come to stadium, and I want them to get used to coming to stadium. They are our future. So we could only do that for this season. Next year we are planning new things for little kids to come to stadium. I love them coming around there with their shirts on. Another thing, merchandising. We're gonna make crazy merchandising improvement as quantity. Also, we want to open a store in the city so everybody can buy. Why not? This color is the best color I've ever seen. Trust me, I mean, really.
Unique, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but trust me, I'm not joking. I bought 1,000 shirts from the orders I got from Turkey. I delivered. Because whoever sees me, when I'm wearing, for example, the jacket, they look at it and, please bring me one. Please bring me one. And every time we are going, at 1 o'clock we are opening the store in the night. Like a thieves, you know. Yeah, we are stealing our own stuff. 1 o'clock, 2 the colors and everything. Also the symbol, you know. If I'm
a good point to make. But just get in there, ask the question. As Alex Ferguson always said to me, ask a good question and you'll get a good answer. Ask a stupid question and you'll get a stupid answer. So, first gentleman.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you for coming to Hull and giving us this opportunity to with Hull. If you look around this room now, I've followed this team my entire life. In the last 30 years, some of the fans, the best fans we have, travelling all over the world supporting Hull, are in this room tonight. I've seen some faces I've not seen in years. It's great. You're giving a lot to us, but I want to know, because I own bars and restaurants around the city, including I bought a sports bar just down the road. It's 5 minutes walk away 3 years ago because we love the club. How can we support you? How can we help you?
I mean, first of all, of course, again, you are one part of our family, and again, important part. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if you agree or not, we should have a specific song, I think, for the team. Maybe we ask, I know that there are many songs they are singing at the moment, but or any of them, or a new song, or whatever it is, maybe some options. But we have to sing this song all together in the stadium. If you agree, I don't know. Yeah. So,
Acun, Amber, Tiger, we've got to get these words in, haven't we? The buzzwords.
I mean, I'm not talking about creating a song. It can be one song of our team. It can be a popular song too. I mean, whatever we like. Would you like to have a new song or popular song? Who says new song? New song? Who says new song? Who says popular song? Popular. For example, I'm just now after last 1 month, whatever I listen to, I just think about my team. You know, there is a song. I'm not pushing that song, of course. I'm gonna ask everybody which song they like, or because at the end of the day, you are from the heart of music, pop music. You know, was maybe
House Martins,
invented here.
Roland Gift.
No, the song is "The Only Way Is Up."
Yeah.
Yes, and the plastic population, you remember. But it's just, yeah. But I mean, the one part of it, the only way is up, baby, like something like that. So any song, of course, we can make some options. But wouldn't it be good, all of us, to sing a song and a more fashion song? More, this song is 30 years, by the way, but a new song with all of us sing together, it would be good. About, of course, the pubs, I would say that, again, they are one part of football, of course. I think we have to think together, maybe make a meeting, because FS Beer wants to, you know FS Beer, yeah. FS, the owner came to me just 3 weeks ago, and they say they want to be one part of the club. And I said to them, okay, we can think about it. And they want to make fun festival here, maybe. And they want to just work with the pubs around the club, around the stadium. And maybe we can make a meeting and go forward together.
Very good. In the city, of course, I think what Acun is saying, if you think about the rugby teams on the other side, the Red Red Robins is their song, and Old Faithful on this side. So we need to get something that screams Hull City, apart from Boothbury to Wembley, wherever we go.
You know, very funny thing is, one Turkish song. But listen, I'm gonna just play it. No,
You should have a show on the television where people sing and things like. Have you ever thought about that?
1 second. In the song, there is a one part of the song is Hull Hull. I mean, not this song, of course, for us, but it's a very funny. They made some jokes in Turkey, in Turkish voice. The judges made a joke for me singing that song. Just
This is the man, by the way, that has Survivor, MasterChef, The Voice, Dancing with the Stars in Turkey. So when he comes up with an idea, they tend to work brilliantly. New song, rock and roll. We're all going to Turkey. Next question, please. Yeah, one at the back, and then we'll come to you, gentlemen. Yeah, got the microphone at the back, and then this gentleman's next.
Now then.
So now then, how can you get? Now then? Now then? Yeah, right? Now then.
So, obviously, in the last few years, the relationship between Hull FC and Hull City have become pretty toxic. Obviously, the Allams, and I think everyone agreed Adam Pearson is a legend at this football club. So obviously there's always the argument about the pitch, like who owns the rights. Obviously there's all the advertising around the ground. Do you plan on repairing that relationship with Hull FC, or are you thinking more sack them off and let them get their own ground? And I'm a black and white, so I'm Hull FC. So
say it as you mean it. Well done.
Make sure you make the right decision here.
You understand the question, yeah?
That's the first of all. At the moment, Tan, you know, our. What's your title, Tan?
I don't know if I'm going to get around.
You will not believe it. In my company, there is no titles, so we don't have title. Because of that, I don't record titles to me. Your title is? Vice Chairman. Oh, it's important. Nice. Nice. I liked it. Okay. Our Vice Chairman, Mr. Tan Kessler, had already a connection with Hull FC. There is a problem like we are using the same ground, but this is not a problem after me, so it was before. And I think that Hull City fans also, this Hull FC is again our city's team. So I am not at all cold to them. But when I look at the pitch after the first rugby game, I saw big lines, you know, and I said, of course they can play here, there's no problem, but with these lines, Tan, what is going on? It doesn't look like a football field. I mean, am I saying the right thing? And you know, you can mix yourself and think that that's the, for example, goal area. That was so thick. Then thanks to him, he just made some things. Then the lines are now less visible. So I'm very happy about it at the moment. But the field gets tired, yes. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you have to do something, you have to do it. I mean, of course, I would prefer 2 fields for these 2 teams. It would be the best because our pitch needs very good quality so that we can score goals. Yes, of course. But if there has been a situation like this city has 2 clubs and the fans love both of them and they are very important and they are from this city, we have to support them. So in this summer, I'm going to change the pitch, first of all. So I want a very good pitch. So for sure, what we will do is to make the pitch very high quality. After that, it's going to come January. And we will see in January, very probably this pitch will handle these 2 teams, I hope, with this new quality. And we will get over it. Also, I want to ask our fans in the future about what they think. If our, I mean, in that kind of decisions, I would usually depend on our fans, because again I say I'm here to make them happy. So for now, of course, we are together, but for the future, let's ask them. I mean, if I ask you, what would you say?
You have to realise that half would be Rovers fans, and they'll want them to go play in another city. If the city is divided by a river, that half, red and white, this half, here, black and white. Who's Rovers fans? Oh, it's interesting. Hull FC fans? Hull City fans?
So we can say that rugby is almost half of football lovers.
When I was a young boy, and Nick will say the same thing as well, when I was, and we're roughly the same age, in this city, 3/4 of the people were rugby fans and 25% were football fans. And those that were football fans would support Leeds United or go support Manchester United from a distance. So historically in this city, everybody supports Hull or Rovers, depending which side of the Bosphorus that you have been born on, or the River Hull that you have been born on. So it's a very contentious one in that you can be a Hull City fan or a Hull Kingston Rovers fan, and you can support Hull City as well. So but I guess what you're saying at the moment is that it's going to coexist for now and see if we can make it work.
Yeah.
The lady down here.
Ladies first.
Is there any possibility that we could look at a joint deal for both Hull City fans and Hull FC fans, who there are quite a number here, because we all want to see the stadium full, we all want to have a good atmosphere, but the stadium was originally built for the community with public money, and it was intended that that would be for the use of both the football club and the rugby club. So is there any possibility for those fans who support both the rugby team and the football team to have a special discounted ticket?
You got to. That was great. That you threw the curveball in right at the end. So if you support Hull FC and Hull City, can you get a discount?
If you ask me, it's a good idea. I mean, why to put them? I mean, I think they deserve a discount for sure. But if there is something I don't know and Tan knows or somebody else knows, I don't know. But I would just say, why not?
I think, to be fair, it is a learning curve when you've just come into Hull and you're learning about the vagaries of the city and the traditions of the city as well. What the lady's trying to do is get one season ticket to see everything that goes on here. And if we bring Elton John back and Ilıcalı, can we have tickets for that as well? And can we just leave the Rovers fans on the other side of the river? That's why it was a curveball of the question. But I hear what you're saying, but it is a little bit difficult that you're a Hull City fan and you pay. But the tradition here, and I think...
No, I think we're going to work on it. I promise you.
Good question. The gentleman here. Very quick.
Acun, welcome. This is a very quick question. Welcome to all of your team as well. Just one question. How did it make you feel recently, giving a platform to Barnsley and also Derby County with those losses? Now, I'm a very positive person, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I love you, and you're going to do great. But how did you feel with that?
First of all, I hate to lose, and my spirit doesn't let me be comfortable when I lose. So, of course, these losses or any losing is bad for us, and I would say that pain. And when you lose against a team like around you, it makes you feel pain. And I would say that at the moment we are very lucky until now, because we lose games sometimes and the other teams lose too. And we would be under big stress if any of the team, or especially Barnsley for example, 3 times they lost in last 10 minutes points. They lost in 1 month 3 times they lost points in last 10 minutes. And we are lucky, I have to say. But also we were unlucky in some games. Like in one game, it was not a penalty before I was the owner. One game, it was a funny penalty they gave against us. I was watching every game this season. I mean, I wouldn't give red card if I was the referee. This week's referee, for example, according to any other game, he was like coming from another country. He was like a Dutch referee. You know, in championship, everybody just hits each other. Nobody says anything. This is a very tough league. Yeah, it was like almost rugby. You are already watching two sports together now. Rugby and football. But this referee gave some interesting decisions and we lost points. I say that for this year, I want everybody to understand that all we need is to stay and to enjoy and to look at the games from that point of view. We can lose 3 more games after here. Because, as I say to you, there was nothing we can do about the team because it was because of some documents. We were 2 months late. We couldn't finish. Some things happened. It's a secret. I cannot say.
We're not going to keep it there, are we?
So for this year, we are very lucky. But losing for me is something terrible. I just was playing football in the training ground.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah, and if I lost it, I would be very unhappy. I'm here with 6-5 victory.
And that's why it's like, because they played until they won. I've got a quick question for you, actually. A guy called Dean from Gypsyville. He's the guy that scored the goal that got us into the Premier League. Dean Windass said, having seen your performance on Instagram with your 13 million followers, would you maybe consider one day playing for the ex-Tigers in one of their charity games? That's the ex-Hull City players.
Oh, fantastic. I can play any time football, you know. If you give me a ball in that room, I can play football. I mean, this is not something I'm joking. My life is so much involved in football, you will understand when I explain it to you. I'm not talking about a specific day, okay? My day in Istanbul. Meeting, then dinner with my girlfriend or with my friends or with my children. And 12 o'clock starts at midnight, our prime time. 12 o'clock, people start coming. And 1:30 in the morning, we start playing football. I have a football field in my TV station. So we go to the football field, 1:30, sometimes 2. The game starts, and with 4 cameras, the game, and finish at 3:34. After the game, of course, we come to the office, make some comments about the game, little chat, and before rush hour, everybody goes home. But we watch NBA games. It starts 4 o'clock in Turkey, NBA games, unfortunately. Here, 1 o'clock, in Turkey, 4 o'clock in winter. We watch the NBA game. I'm a Miami Heat fan. So we watch the game, and after the game, everybody goes. So I can say that I love challenge. All of our football games are in an extreme tension level. It's not like a game, you scored, thank you, congratulations. It's not like that. Very tough games, always good games. So today was an important game for me.
So to fit in with Acun's very important business plans, all games next season are going to be kicking off at 1:30 in the morning. Next question. We have another question. We're into the last 5 minutes. So again, if you could keep your questions brief. Where's our microphone? This gentleman here is probably the nearest to the microphone, and then we'll go the next. We've got another microphone. The gent over there in the tartan top.
John, thank you. Yeah. So in the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of. Is this working?
Yeah, I hear you.
We've seen a lot of football documentaries. Now, obviously, you've got a massive following in Turkey. could we see a Hull City documentary on something like Netflix, Amazon Prime, something like that to get your Turkish fans involved with Hull City?
Yeah, yeah, why not? But of course, it's something for the future. We have already very good production company, so we can do it very easily. Why not to do it? Yes, but at the moment, I mean, this Sunderland thing and some things are the ideas of the media people looking for a club to make a documentary. But in our case, we are the club side, so I wouldn't say that it's my primary concentration. Of course, we can make some things, but my focus is full of now victory for the next year, and I wouldn't say that I will give too much concentration in that time for that. But it would be a very good story for sure, because this team, I hope, will have a good future together. And why not? I mean, this, for example, Antalya trip will be very good in the documentary. Can you believe? The fans are enjoying, and the journey started from here to Premier League. But it's a good option for us for some time later.
Okay, microphone to the gentleman there who was next. I'll just ask a quick question from many of you will have heard of Carol Thomas, who was, well, she was an England international and captain before women's football became very fashionable, which it is at the moment, and there is a whole ladies team competing at the moment. Carol would like to know, Acun, whether Hull City would consider bringing on board a women's football team and promoting more girls' sport in the city.
This is again something possible, yes? This is something can be possible, yes, but again, maybe we need a little time about it, because if we will do it something, it should be good thing, and we have to give full energy. So I have to check with my team about this timing. But I support women football, and I like to watch when there's the games. So anytime we will try to do it. But about the duration again, timing, I cannot say something specific.
But when it is done, it will be done properly and thoroughly.
Yeah, if we do it, we have to give full focus, full concentration. So isn't it hard at the moment for us to give more concentration to another thing, apart from we are following so many players all around the world now. So full focus on the team now.
I don't know if people know that when Carol Thomas was playing for England and she was the England captain, she used to train with the Hull City Miners in the gym with a guy called Pete Sissons on a Tuesday and Thursday night. And the likes of Dean Windus and myself have got the bruises to prove it as well. But good luck to the girls, and hopefully we'll get them on board as well. The gentleman over here in the tartan top. Into the last couple of minutes now, I think.
Hi there. You've said that you've got connections with people in Turkey in the football teams and stuff. I was just wondering, during the pre-season, will we get to see Hull City go to Turkey and play against the Turkish teams over there?
Very probable. And I'm not saying 2 times 2 at the moment, but my aim is to take the team 1 week to Turkey and make good games, pre-season games. I think Fenerbahce will be one of the teams that we will play. I mean, the president is a very good friend of mine. We are very close, and he's supporting Hull City already. He's asking me about everything in detail whenever we see each other. So I can say that for me, there is no obstacle in front of me. There is no obstacle at the moment not to make it. A nice 1 week Turkish side preparation and making our coach says if we go, we need to make 2-3 games, 2-3 pre-season games. For sure we have to make it.
I think we've got time for one more question before we wrap up. This gentleman here who thinks he's going to Turkey, because he told me earlier on he's had a season ticket since 1966. The young boy, I'll tell you, I will make an exception. I'll get this gentleman first, and then we'll have the young boy. Where's the young lad? Sorry. We'll come to you. You're going to be, it's a big finisher for you. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, I haven't had a season ticket since 1966, but I've been coming since then. And I go back to Ken Wagstaff and all those players.
Chilton, Houghton, Butler,
yeah, all that,
McKechnie,
so the whole
Davis.
team, yes, yes, Swan, Davis and Butler, Jarvis, Milner, Simpkin, Henderson, Wagstaff, Chilton, Houghton, Butler. Substitute Terry Heath. And but I would just like to thank you for this tonight, and thank you for giving us our club back. We had a real.
If you couldn't hear, we say thank you for giving us our club back.
I've actually travelled nearly 100 miles tonight each way to come to this meeting, but I wanted to say one thing. We have a player who still lives in Hull who is unique in that he was the captain through 4 divisions. Ian Ashby. Can you get him here, please? Get him back in the club and have one of these meetings with him on the top table, because he means a lot to all of us. Captain, fantastic.
Ian Ashby was a captain of this club, who was at the club when we were a 4th tier team, then a 3rd tier team, then a 2nd tier team, and then a top tier team. And I think Ian still lives locally, doesn't he?
He does.
And he lives locally. So
I mean, a lot of players have been alienated, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The last few years. It'd be great to get him here.
he could do a job.
Yeah.
Maybe in the ex-Tiger, but what we were saying is, I think what the plan is from the club, isn't it, to maybe have a lot more evenings like this, where we get the guys like Nick and Ian Ashby. I know would be a great. So
Okay, I'll talk to them.
Thank you.
Chan's list is getting longer. Where's that young gentleman down there? Thank you very much. This is our final question.
Thank you very much, Rob, and good evening, Acun. One of the first things you did when you took over was bring Shota in. How long did you have him in mind for, and what was the particular draw? What drew you to him?
You've got a future. Great question.
I think in August, before the season, I decided about Shota. And the reason is Shota Arveladze, you know, in Turkey, just to give you some details, Shota Arveladze in Turkish, in transfer market, Comtiar, the most point coaches in Turkish league in 21st century. Number 1 is Christoph Daum. Maybe you heard of him. Mircea Lucescu, number 2. And number 3 is Shota Arveladze. Shota was the coach of Kayserispor, which I think 80% of you don't know. And he took them to European Cup. And the team was number 5. Then he was in Kasımpaşa, again a team not in top 6 of Turkey, you can never know. And he took them to UEFA Cup again. Both teams played very good football. Shota is coming from Ajax, Louis van Gaal assistant. He was just started his career near Louis van Gaal. Then in Turkey, I think 6-7 years he was the coach, and in these 6-7 years, he just made the bottom style of middle teams to European Cups in Turkey. So this is one of the biggest reasons. Second reason, I believe when you work with good people, you leave good things. So I know him as a person too. He is for me one of a kind, extremely clever and extremely good-hearted person, which you cannot easily find all the time. So this is the second reason. I know that his goodness will be a very big power in the dressing room next year. Don't forget, this year he came to a club like he is the visitor. But next year, he will be the host side. New players will come. These were the players who he will be saying, yes, let's do it. So these players will be almost transferred by him. So he will have the advantage of this good connection with them. And I'm sure that is going to be successful. So I think success is also coming from if you catch the right thing, insist on it. Insist. Alex Ferguson, when he came to Manchester United, 5 years, he didn't have anything. After what happened, we saw. Fatih Terim is the coach of Turkey. I would say that number 1 in Turkish history. He has the half of Galatasaray Museum at the moment. And it was a game, Fenerbahçe beat Galatasaray 4-0 in Ali Sami Yen Stadium. And everybody thought they would sack him. Then they just kept him and he made 8 times champion. So let's believe in our coach, support him, make him feel that he's supported, make him confident, and I'm sure that he's going to bring the success to us. Such a nice guy, you can understand from his body language. I'm sure that you already understood it. Yeah. No, I want to make a selfie too.
You want to make a selfie too?
Yeah.
We're going to do a selfie because I know that everybody in here would love a photo with Acun, and that's going to be impossible because he's seizing up after playing football this afternoon. So what we're going to do, because you've been on YouTube, and apologies to those that are watching out there on social media. I know the sound hasn't been great. It's been great in the room, by the way, hasn't it? But it was kind of improvised very late on today to try to get as many people seeing this, because, as you know, it captured the imagination of the city. So to get you lot in the picture, other than the baldy heads on that camera over there, we're going to get the best feature of you. So I'm going to add Acun to come. Are you going to do the selfie like this?
Yeah.
So if you can see the foot, well, we'll take one that way, that way, that way, that way. So everybody gets in. Right, boss. Okay, go. Right. E stand. So are we?
It's better selfie.
You do the selfie side. Do you want it on my phone or your phone?
Yeah, I can do with yours than mine.
Okay.
I have to put the Instagram, you know.
Wait. Is that video or photo? Photo.
One video I'm gonna have again for my Instagram at the end. This is
One more for these guys as well. This side as well. Don't want to leave anybody out.
No, my video will take everybody. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. Now they're expert. The man who has 13 million Instagram followers rather than the guy that's got 250. City till I die, I'm city till I... It's Instagram, you can make a noise.
It's the video. For you and me now. Which chant would you like? I mean, let's have a chant. You sing, I record. A longer one.
The Elvis song. This is what... One more! And thank you all for coming in on this Thursday night. Keep getting behind the team, and we'll see you all in Turkey.